I'm Michael Fox, and this is the Prospector Podcast. And I have Bart Jaworski, who is the president and CEO of Group 11 Minerals. Welcome, Bart.
Hey, Mike, how are you?
I'm good and I'm excited. We probably should have done one of these a few months ago, but we sat down together back in January, which seems like a lifetime ago, and you had rolled out some pretty fantastic plans for the company for this year, and you underestimated what you could accomplish. It's been a really busy year, but before we get into all of that, let's give everybody the quick overview of the company, what you're doing, and where you're doing it.
Sure. We made the most significant discovery in Ireland in the last decade, about 3 years ago. So it's crazy. It's actually been 3 years already, but we made the discovery September of 22. We ended up getting an intercept of 60 meters of mineralization, and that had 10 meters of 10% zinc and lead and about 100 grams per ton silver. And we've basically continued that trajectory for about 1.5 kilometers in terms of getting those types of widths and grades. So we're getting a lot of silver along with our zinc lead. Zinc lead is typically what Ireland is known for. Ireland is very well known for its world-class zinc deposits like Tara, Silver Mines, Galmoy, Lachine. But those typically don't have much silver. They might have a little bit. Some have zero, some have maybe 30 grams per ton, some have 60 grams. We're consistently getting 50 to 150 grams per ton silver. And most recently, we've been really getting some really high grades. So, for example, I think 3,800 grams per ton is what we announced last Thursday and change. Before that, we had 2,000 grams per ton in sort of 1 meter to half meter sort of increments, or even less in some instances. But it's interesting. So higher grade silver than anyone else so far, any other discovery in Ireland heretofore. Anytime we also get a high grade zinc, we typically get a good bit of germanium, and germanium is interesting because it used to be worth double of silver. Now silver's obviously gone up to $40 or so an ounce. I think germanium's at about 60, between 60 and $70 an ounce. But germanium's used for AI chips, so that's also interesting. The discovery is called Ballywire, I should say, and it's in the Limerick area, which is on the west side, sort of central west side of Ireland. It is right beside, so right being 20 kilometers away from Glencore's Palace Green deposit, which is sort of critical mass. It's 45 million tons of 8.4% zinc and lead. We have a small deposit right next to Glencore. Our Stone Park deposit is about 5 million tons of 11.3% zinc and lead. So it's shallower and richer than our next door neighbor. Palace Green is not yet developed. It is to be developed at some stage. And now we've sweetened the pot a lot in terms of potentially lighting up the area in that 20 kilometers away from Palace Green Stone Park. We've just made this 3 years ago. We made this Ballywire discovery, which seems to be going from strength to strength. And you'll probably cut me off here. I'm rambling, but we've had some very nice hits this year, which catalyzed us being able to raise quite a bit of money. We're now sitting on $8.4 million of cash and 25,000 meters of funded drilling to really go after Ballywire along the 6 kilometer trend that we have. So it's an exciting story.
Yeah, no, it is an exciting story. And as it's been rolling out over the course of the year, it's helped the company on a financial status as well. Because when we had spoken in January, you guys had planned out a pretty modest drill program. You needed to go to the market to fund it. You went to the market and you found yourself more money than you needed, which is a good thing. So you expanded the drill program. And that first drill program, you hit what we refer to as one of those magic holes. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so we just got 6 meters of nearly 1,000 grams per ton silver and nearly 4% copper, and that copper and silver was coming up from below. And so the suggestion was from the evidence that there's a deeper copper silver horizon underneath our discovery. Our discovery horizon is basically zinc lead silver, and it's at the base of the Wall-Sortian limestone, which is quite typical for Ireland. But underneath it, in this very particular part of Ireland, is something called the lower limestone shale, which sits underneath the. It's actually quite common throughout Ireland, but in this area in particular, it's known to host copper silver. So we kind of took that general knowledge that, this lower limestone shale is below us. It is known to be very receptive to copper silver mineralization. And here we are getting what is potentially leakage from down below coming up. And we're getting some really high grade leakage. So the obvious put one and one together and you start realizing there could be something quite significant down there. And that's where the market really took interest in us, that the share price, essentially the market cap doubled, and we were able to do a $5.75 million bought deal with Cormark and Beacon on the back of that, which closed July 31st. And that's really what set us up. So the copper, I think, was the key pivotal element, where all of a sudden we were seen as a zinc-lead-silver story. Now we were getting snippets of copper, silver all the way along, but all of a sudden we really hit something, very impressive. And the whole story just all of a sudden came alight, because now we say, well, this wasn't just copper here, but we're getting copper, silver in high grades, albeit narrow widths, but throughout the whole 1.5 kilometers, 1.6 kilometers that we've been drilling so far. And the indication is that there could be a layer cake sort of parallel horizon underneath the zinc horizon. And that was the interesting thing. The other, I think, news release you sort of pointed to is the one after that copper hit. We had a phenomenal, thick, record-breaking intercept of 50 meters of mineralization of high-grade zinc-lead-silver mineralization, also with some high-grade copper, silver to boot. And then most recently, just last Thursday, actually, we hit out more, three holes were also copper, silver rich. So the copper, silver story is really gaining here. It's really getting a lot more meat on the bone, if you will, on top of what is already an exciting zinc-lead story.
Yeah, and the market has taken off on you. That allowed you to raise that extra $5 million this summer at terms that are very favorable to the company. But it also put a lot of your warrants in the money, and you had a pretty substantial warrant exercisement over the course of the spring as well.
Yeah, well, in February we had a $2.5 million private placement that was at 19 cents or so, and then the share price kept going up on the back of good drill results. Then we had about $2.2 million on top of that of warrant exercises in the money, and then on top of that, then we had the $5.75 million deal. So it was a good year for that, and like I said, we are drilling with 3 rigs. So again, at the same time as we're raising money, we're putting it to good work. And so right about now, we're sitting at about $8.4 million in terms of the most recent number we put out there, taking all of that into account. So the idea now is to go from 3 rigs to 4 rigs very, very shortly. We alluded to that in the last press release on Thursday. And with that, we'll have probably over 25,000 meters of drilling from now to probably, we'll be drilling all next year, 2026, and then probably through into early 2027, if not the first half of 2027.
Yeah, and the earlier successes has allowed you the capital to be able to plan this drill program out that far without any further capital raises, if I understood the press releases correctly.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, there's no need to come to market now for quite a while, 18 months plus. I should mention that Michael Gentile is a large shareholder, as is Glencore. Obviously, Glencore owns that Palace Green deposit that I alluded to at the very beginning. So we have very strong shareholders. As part of the bought deal, we were able to get 5 other institutions in the door. Previous to that, we also had one institution before that, Timolo, which you can look up on Bloomberg, or Bloomberg Holdings. Say if you looked up our ticker on Bloomberg, you'd see Timolo there. Jean-Francois Tardy has been very supportive. And so now on top of that fund, we had 5 more that came in on the bought deal. So that's really fantastic. It's really sort of broadened our investor base as well. And we also got a US ticker. So we uplisted from BB to QB on the OTC. So now, it's probably about a 60-40 split. So we do a lot of trading in the US actually. We are covered by Brian London. We'll be going to New Orleans, by the way, later this year, as well as other newsletter writers out there, like Brian Lenny, for example, who's more Canadian based, but still does a lot of work for us. So the trading that we're doing is probably 60% in Canada on the TSX Venture, and also 40%, but growing in the US, which is great as well.
Wonderful. So with these 4 drills turning over the course of the next, sounds like about the next year and a half, and the discovery of copper underneath the zinc and the silver, what is it that you're wanting to learn more about this deposit with the future drill results? What are you hoping to see and position the company moving forward with?
Well, yeah, so there's 4 gravity high anomalies that really underpin our 6-kilometer trend. And interestingly, only one of those 4 gravity high anomalies is where the discovery is. So we've only really systematically drill tested one of those 4. So you could basically say that we're 25% of the way through exploring our 6-kilometer trend. So we just started stepping out into, and that, by the way, that is called the C anomaly. So we have A, B, C, and D. The discovery was made on the C anomaly. That just happened to be where our initial drilling was done. That's where the discovery became located. But now we're moving over another kilometer or so away to the D anomaly, and now we're also stepping out into the B anomaly. And hopefully later this year we'll be going to the A anomaly as well. So really, 25,000 meters will be geared towards spreading our wings along the 6-kilometer trend to really see what those other 3 gravity anomalies are and what they're telling us.
So what you're hoping to find is that what you see in C, you're going to see in A, B, and D as well.
A, B, and D, exactly. And of course, check to see what the underlying copper silver potential is underneath the zinc horizon.
So now, is there any indication with the exploration you've done so far that these anomalies could be connected and mineralized in between?
Well, I think that they probably are, and it's probably akin to, say, a Lachine deposit. If you look at the morphology of it, the footprint of it is a number of structurally controlled layers or blankets of mineralization. They are all connected, but they're somewhat separated by relay ramps, and so there's a little bit of separation, but they're all along the same trend, and they tend to be coalesced together. So I think we're probably going to see something like that at Ballywire when everything comes together. But again, it's early days. It's only 25% of the way through. And obviously, with the money that we have in the door now, we can really go ahead and test that.
No, most definitely. And there's a lot of blue sky potential there for the company going forward as we see more results coming out from all these holes and different anomalies. So lots of work to be done ahead.
Absolutely. We're very excited, and we're going to be telling the story quite a bit this fall. So, we're going to be doing quite a bit of marketing, a lot of conferences, not the least of which is the Michael Gentile European Roadshow. So we're going to be doing 5 days from October 6th to the 10th, starting off in London, going to Paris, Geneva, Zurich, and then Frankfurt. 6 companies, is Michael's top 6 holdings. So that's going to be very exciting. It's sort of a one that's probably your listeners have never seen, but but Michael's never done this show before. This is the first time he's launched this type of a show, road show. So it's going to be quite interesting, quite exciting. So looking forward to telling our story along with 5 other very good names of Michael's portfolio. But also doing later this year the SMI, the London 1-to-1, going to New Orleans. Being before that in September, I'll be at MIF, thanks to Brian Lenny's invitation. So I'll be there for that. There's also a conference here, a 1-day conference in Ireland happening here with a minister. There's also one of the speakers, but potentially you might hear about the reopening of the Galmoy mine here in Ireland, which will be interesting to see any developments there. The Irish government is also, talking about investing 30 million euros towards Irish mining. So I think we'll get an update on how that's going. So lots of interesting things happening here within Ireland, and also, with our marketing abroad in North America and in Europe.
Yeah, so investors, if you're going to find yourself in and around where Bart is, I would recommend picking up one of those events and going and have a chat with Bart and to see what they're doing. But if investors can't see you that way, Bart, how's the best way to follow the company?
I guess X. Go onto our website, and we try to do as many of these videos as possible. So every news release, we usually speak with Peter Grandich, and he does a great job of sort of taking the best out of the news release out in terms of showcasing the essence of it. So I usually try to do that, and I think those are hopefully quite helpful for investors. And yeah, we'll continue to work with other people along the way to sort of help us tell the story, and we shall see how it goes.
Yeah, I can't wait to see you. And we're both down in New Orleans. I think that's the only place where our particular paths are going to cross this fall. But I'm looking forward to sitting down with you and getting a more in-depth update of what's been coming out of the drill holes this fall. This is exciting times for the company, and most people don't think of Ireland when they think of mineral and mining, but there's a long history of it there.
60 years, well said. Yeah, 60 years of a lot of mining history here in the country. Six prospects that are becoming discoveries that were actually built, and they were built because there was infrastructure here. There's a lot of big, beautiful discoveries out there in the world that are stranded to this day because guess what? No infrastructure. And if you're a base metal projects, you need the infrastructure. You can't, if you're a gold or silver story, you can be pretty much located anywhere. But the second you're a zinc or a copper story, it's a different thing altogether. You need that infrastructure, and it's a killer if you don't have it. So that's a really nice thing about Ireland. It's you've got the infrastructure, proximity to European smelters. Great mining code, by the way. The Fraser Institute just put out the mining survey, and Ireland is #1 for policy perception index. So again, that's a purview into our great mining code here. Stable politics, and very much in the middle, very pro-business, SME oriented, small, medium enterprises. So it's a very pro-business environment, very much stable politics, and great infrastructure, and obviously the most importantly, great rocks.
Wonderful. I look forward to our next update in New Orleans, and hopefully we'll get to do one of these and bring the listeners up to date as well.
Excellent, Michael. Thanks so much for the time. Really appreciate it, and great questions.
Wonderful. Thank you, Bart. Group 11 Resources is a paid sponsor of the Prospector News. The Prospector News podcast is for educational purposes only. The opinions expressed are those of the participants and are not to be taken as investment advice. Listeners need to do their own due diligence and seek advice of a licensed investment advisor.